Welcome to Campaign Update. I'm Kerry Fink, and welcome Dr. Dave Weldon, who is running for Florida House of Representatives District 32. Let me jump right to the heart of the question. Why are you running?
Well, that's a great question. I get asked that question quite a bit. I've been a, congressman. I'm a practicing physician now. Why would you want to jump back into politics? And I have been really troubled, I would say, over the last year or two when I look at the direction the country is going in. And I really feel like we're in a battle for the soul of America. They're challenging the founding fathers' principles. Freedom of speech is being challenged in our colleges and universities. Schools are trying to use or educators are trying to use our schools to indoctrinate our kids rather than educate our kids. And they're trying to redefine marriage. They want to let women play men in sports, or men enter women's sports. I mean, all this crazy stuff that's going on. Drag queens in the classroom. I just feel like a calling to go back into politics.
So, as an Army veteran, thank you for your service, a medical doctor who practices right here in Brevard County to this day, and also as our 7-term former Congress person representing us in the US Congress, what would be your highest priority in back now in the looking at the Florida State House?
Well, one of the highest priorities will be to try to address the crisis in cost of homeowners insurance. I hear a lot of people struggling to pay their premium, that we have some of the highest rates. So what can we do in Tallahassee to bring those rates down? I've researched this, and actually I've learned that we have some of the highest auto insurance rates as well. So I would make that a high priority. Another very high priority is growth and growth management and traffic. We have millions of people moving to the state of Florida, and Brevard County is ground zero. If you're in home building and if you're in real estate development, those are all good things. And I'm not against, the home builders, but as we invite more and more people to come here, and I know they want to come here because this is a great place to live. That's why I came here. We don't want to say no, don't come, but we want to be able to preserve green space. We want to preserve our parks and quality of life issues, growth issues.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. So there is competition for this House. I think the Debbie Mayfield, who has been the state senator in the State House, is now running for the House of Representatives at the state. Am I saying that right? And then how would you explain the difference?
Well, Debbie served in the House for 8 years, and then she went over to the Senate, and now she's term limited. She was term limited in the House. She's term limited in the Senate, so she wants to go back to the House. I term limited myself from Washington, and I went back to practicing medicine. So one of the differences between me and her is I think she's really a career politician. I'm a doctor, became a legislator in Washington, went back to practicing medicine, and now I want to serve the people. And that's perhaps one of the ways to look at it. I see myself as a public servant, and I see my service in politics as temporary. I don't see it as a career. When I was in Washington, D.C., people would ask me, do you want to be called doctor or do you want to be called congressman? And I used to always say, I prefer doctor because I am a doctor. I always saw congressman as a temporary thing. So who's a career politician who... another difference between her and I, she's raised most of her money in Tallahassee. I've raised most of my money from people here back home. I've got a lot of local endorsements, like the sheriff. I've been endorsed by the outgoing state representatives, Thad Altman. I've been endorsed by retiring Congressman Bill Posey. So I have a lot of local endorsements, and most of my money is local. So those are some of the differences between me and her.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I have seen next to her name it says endorsed by Donald Trump, and obviously that gets a lot of people's attention. But I have to ask the question locally, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about right here in Brevard County, Florida, and serving the state of Florida. There is a difference, and it sounds like from an endorsement standpoint, you've got a lot of the local people that you've spent years working with behind you.
Yeah, she had endorsed Ron DeSantis for president, and she withdrew her endorsement of Ron DeSantis and endorsed Donald Trump. And the story, as I have it, it was in exchange for Donald Trump endorsing her to get in this race to run against me. And now a lot of people will look at that and may just vote for her because she's got the Trump endorsement. But I think it was a quid pro quo, and it speaks of a difference between me and her. And so I support President Trump, and I'm not sure he fully understood what was going on in this race. I'm not sure he knew who I was. I'm not sure he knew that I was already in the race. But, I'm donating to Trump. I'm campaigning for Trump, and even though he's endorsed my opponent.
Well, let me just kind of wrap it up by saying, as a veteran, you've done a lot for veterans. You made possible the VA Veterans Clinic right here in Brevard County. You were very instrumental in making sure the Commercial Space Act, which we're all benefiting from now here in Brevard County, that was from your days in Congress. You were very vitally involved in a lot of the road and infrastructure projects, which would seem like it's things that we're going to have to deal with Florida's growth. To kind of sum it up, if you were asking somebody in District 32 for their vote, I know you're also a faith-filled person and really see the value of God and everything, but how would you tie it all together and say, I'd like for you to support me in this?
Well, I've never shied away from admitting to people that I'm a Christian and I read the Bible. I believe in prayer. I don't think those are reasons to vote for somebody necessarily. I believe Debbie Mayfield claims to be a Christian as well. And but some of the differences I've already covered. But I respect anybody's decision, whatever they want to do, however they want to vote. I would say one of the additional differences between me and her is I had a very good track record working with other legislators and other leaders in the community. I was able to keep and retain good staff, and I worked hard, and I was very effective in Washington, D.C. You can look at the, four-laning of 192. You can look at the Pineda extension from Wickham Road out to I-95. You can look at the Commercial Space Act. You can look at the space station program. You can look at all these different things. Those were things that, I played a significant hand in, and so I have a definite track record of working hard and getting things done.
Yeah, well, votes are happening right now as we speak, so everybody needs to vote by, what is it, Tuesday?
Tuesday, the primary is August 20th, and early voting ends Saturday. So if you'd like to use early voting, you can vote up till, I think, 4 o'clock this Saturday. And then after that, you have to show up on Tuesday. And I'm hoping this message will help those who are undecided to decide for me.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Dave Weldon, Florida House of Representatives candidate for District 32. Thanks for making the time.
Great to be with you, Kerry.
Paid by Dave Weldon, Republican for State Representative.